Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Strictly Missionary. Tonight we have a really interesting topic. The Pope is now judging whether or not people in the world are Christian or unchristian. Now, it was in the news that Pope Franny called Donald Trump unchristian. I think what the Donald needs to do is take that as a compliment. Because I am under the impression that the Pope is Christian. He represents one of the most moneyed private enterprises in the world. They hold more gold, resources, land, and human hearts than anybody I can think of. Now, I would call the Pope Christian. I would go so far as to call Jeb Bush Christian, as well as his brother. They are great purveyors of war and doom. They like to cut heads off, bomb the shit out of people, and generally create a chaotic world. I would call them Christian. I would call flat earth, anti-global warming, evangelical right-wingers like Ted Cruz, I would call them Christian. I would call them Christian. They believe in the right to life, but as soon as you're here, they really don't care about you, and they're going to kick you off of welfare, and they're going to make a great, happy state of more poor people. I would call him Christian. I would call the great crusaders that went into the Holy Land in the first war of the Crusades in like 1100 or something, I would call them Christian. They burned synagogues, cut Muslim heads off, burned Korans, and basically took over the place. As well as killing a bunch of Jews and robbing and looting and pillaging and raping and stealing all the way across Europe to get to the Middle East in the first place. I would call them good Christians. Now, in light of the definition that we've established for Christian, I would not call Donald Trump a Christian. I would call Donald Trump not a Christian. He has the interests of the middle class poor in his election. He wants to bring jobs back to America instead of handing them over to Mexico, instead of sending them down to China. Sounds like a good idea to me. That's very unchristian of you, Donald. He would like to stop illegal immigrants from coming into the country so Americans can get paid more. That sounds very unchristian to me, Donald. He says what he thinks. He likes to insult people and tell them the truth. Often the truth is insulting. I would call that very unchristian of you, Donald. So, in retrospect, I would have to agree with the Pope. Donald Trump is a very unchristian fellow. So, coming up in South Carolina, I am appealing to your intellect and your self-worth and your ability to think on your own to vote for Donald Trump in the GOP primary. I don't even want to talk about Marco Rubio. I don't want to talk about Ted Cruz. I really don't want to talk about Jeb Bush. They are all very good Christian folk. Donald Trump is unchristian. We don't even want to talk about Hillary. We'll save that for the next episode. Hillary is as Christian as you can get. Hillary is so Christian She should have a cross tattooed on her forehead.